today we have Megan Walker as our first ever, and this is kind of cool.
Yeah,
so
it's
Megan,
exciting.
Yeah, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, absolutely. So my name's Megan Walker. On social media, Megan V Walker is my handle on Twitter. And I'm originally from Newcastle, which is in the northeast of England, and lived in Atlanta for 14 years, and then moved back to the UK in 2014 and live in the East Midlands area of England.
Right. So you found an American.
I found an American, convinced him to marry me, and then convinced him to move back to England. So yes, lucky man.
Yeah. But for people not getting to know you, I mean, you also had an article on LinkedIn recently about nicknames.
Yes, nicknames. So one of the things for me, a name to me is quite a personal thing. Yeah. And growing up, I was always Meg only by friends and very close friends and family. And then to me it always felt like a little girl's name, so it just felt like it was unprofessional sort of in the workplace and business and so on. So in January 2018 I did an article on using an emoji in an option set in Microsoft Dynamics CRM or 365, whatever you want to call it, and it was something that I thought, I'm sure someone's written about it before. I didn't just discover it. And the blinds are just opening on their own. Yeah. That's why we're a little startled there. So anyway, I published this article, and Chris Huntingford, who was an MVP in the UK, he found it, saw a tweet about it, whatever, and just started sharing it. And he's pretty well known within the community. And I wasn't at all. So all of a sudden my Twitter was I felt like a Kardashian. I felt like it must be what it's like to be famous and your phone is blowing up. And it just was ping, ping, ping on my phone, and people commenting and liking and sharing.
So this is all due to Chris?
Chris is the one that first saw it to where his impact was major. Yeah. And then he coined the phrase emoji Megs. And I thought, I really don't like that. Don't like people calling me Meg or Meg. And it's taken me a while, but now I love it. And a few people have said to me, I wish that I had a nickname that I didn't have to make up for myself. And that's the thing, isn't it? You kind of have to embrace it after a time.
Yeah, you do.
And now I've just that's fine. I use the hashtag. I've got stickers printed with it on. I'm happy.
He's really embracing it.
I'm embracing it.
It's just like Chris. I mean, he's just the most amazing guy. We had him here in Oslo.
He is fantastic.
We're in Amsterdam right now.
Yeah.
We had him in Oslo, and he's just a person you can't not notice.
Absolutely.
But some people might forget his name, but they always know CRM Tattoo Guy.
Absolutely. And he's also somebody that is inclusive, wants to make sure everybody's involved, wants to make sure everyone's happy, having a good time, and also celebrates everybody to be like, you're doing an amazing job, you're doing, and he just kind of makes you feel like special, He is lovely.
So let's just go a little bit back and how did you get into Dynamics?
Yeah, so I started using it as an end user for a recruitment software company in the US, and so we were implementing it because we'd had a couple of companies that had merged together, and we were all on different CRM tools, so we merged and migrated onto CRM, I think 2011 back then, and so I started to use it as an end user, and then I became a trainer, power user, super user, whatever you want to call it. Long story short, I ended up being with that company for a while and moving back to the UK with that same company, moving back as a marketing manager and using Click Dimensions and everything related to marketing, but also training as well, and then became the system administrator. So did that for a while, and then thought I need to get into D365. They weren't moving to that world yet, so I left and became a consultant instead.
What was like, if you think about back when you started, around 2011, what's the first thing you liked about CRM?
I'm a complete geek. I love any new software. I just love software. The user experience, just the finding tips and tricks and things that you can do that, you get trained, but I'm like, yeah, but there's all this other stuff. And you get trained, a small percentage of what a system can actually do. So to me, the excitement is then figuring out those additional things. I mean, I wouldn't say I could necessarily remember something that I thought was really cool back then, other than we've got a new system to play with, I've got a new system to learn. And then the thing that I am passionate about is then sharing that knowledge. So with somebody else where I'm like, yeah, but if you just did this, your life would be so much easier, you know, and you could do 1 click instead of 10, or, you know, your job could be, the time could be reduced by doing this task. You can do it in less time. So that's what I love and get excited about.
Yes, it's a lot about the users and how to actually use the system, not just about the technical parts of it.
I mean, there's the technical side as well, but the people that are going to get the fastest, quickest sort of aha moment, oh God, I can't believe I did that. That's, to me, has always been like what I am most passionate about, you know? So when people come up to me and say, I read this post and it changed my life, like, or not changed my life, but that's a bit dramatic. No, actually, a guy came up to me before my session at Summit about Power BI, came over and said, I just want to tell you, on behalf of all our users, you changed our life in terms of the emoji blog. Like, and that's what, over a year ago now, because they're on an older version, and he said it brought colour to the system. It brought a bit of something. Yeah. So when someone says that over something, so it didn't take me that long to write, that's amazing when somebody's that, you know, thankful that you've done something. It's a nice feeling.
Yeah. So what if you take the other, okay, what is, because we are always going to have these sort of, what's your favorite part about CRM? What's your most, you know, like, what do you hate the most about CRM? Yeah. So we'll start with the bad, and
let's go with the hate.
Let's go with the hate first, and then maybe do one with the, like one thing that you really appreciate. But let's start with something that just bugs you.
Yeah. So the part of the sales process has always bugged me a little bit. The lead opportunity, that whole process. So.
But that's okay. So we're just going to sidetrack on that because if you can also comment on this, then lead or no lead.
That's what I was going to go with.
All right, sorry.
No. So one of the things that I think is fundamentally flawed is the assumption that you would always have an opportunity when you're qualifying a lead. The other thing is that you've got a lead from an organisation that you could have 2 or 3 other leads from the same organisation, but there isn't a relationship between those 3 leads. So from a marketing perspective, if you're doing any kind of lead scoring, you could have John Smith with a lead score of 50. You could have Tom Jones with a lead score of 50. And you could have Mary Sue with a lead score of 50. Individually, if your target of a lead scoring that triggers and says, right now we're actually getting somewhere with this lead, if your trigger is 70, you will not touch either of those 3 leads. Combined, they've got 150. That organisation is interested in you. They are interested in your product and your service. So by linking those leads together, or by not using leads and using contacts and an account record, you've got 150 right there. That's somebody to follow up with. Right. So it bothers me because there's no link.
Because in the lead in the beginning, it's just something.
It's something, exactly. But something could be so much more if you could unpeel and look behind that and see actually that one somebody is actually for somebody's at one organisation. Yeah. The other thing is if you qualify a lead, is the out of the box that forces the opportunity to be created. I've got a blog on how to not do that, but that's that's something that I did the blog because out of frustration where somebody didn't want the opportunity every time on a project, and they said it just doesn't work for us. We want the lead, but we don't want the opportunity, and we shouldn't have to go and delete the opportunity, right?
Makes sense. Yeah, I see the linking issues there also. Trying to figure out where we are within this lead, and then of course we have the inbound talks about when should it be a lead, when should it not be a lead. Okay, so one of the things that we are putting on the category of annoyance, if we can put it that way.
Undesirable process that currently exists. Let's go with that.
Yes. Yeah. So, okay, if we go to the other part of the scale then. So things that amaze you or something like just like, this makes so much sense to me right now that it's just
Can I have a few things?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
So I, even though I'm a functional consultant, I feel like I'm maybe a bit. I'm not as technical as some, but I feel like I'm maybe more of a hybrid in terms of some of the things that I love to do and enjoy. So I love writing SSRS reports, love it. And started off like writing reports. This is not CRM related, but crystal reports, like way back. And then learning how to write reports for CRM. There's nothing I love more than being like, oh, I've got a report to write. And it happens less and less, unfortunately, on projects. But that's something that it's not technically CRM, but being able to create a report and have it be so powerful, and it's not an out of the box CRM report. I love that. So that's something I really, really enjoy doing. And then also portals as well. Love portals. And that sort of ties back into a passion of mine, writing websites, all that sort of stuff. Absolutely. So they're not quite pieces of functionality, but obviously they're key, they're huge in terms of the entire sort of journey that you would take an organisation on. If you're implementing CRM, those have got to be key things that you're thinking about. Your reporting, what's your reports going to look like, that sort of thing. Is there going to be a customer portal, a vendor portal, employee portal, all of that stuff?
Well, since you tell me about your background that with SSRS and crystal reports, could that have been one of the reasons that you've also, the topic of your presentation today, by the way, a very good presentation.
Thank you very much.
I learned a lot about BI.
Thank you.
But really about presenting dynamics data in BI.
It could be, to be honest. I hadn't really thought about it. Like I said, unfortunately, it's less and less in terms of, Power BI is amazing. But I also think there's such value in an awesome SSRS report. Like, I think that now, like, if I get into projects, it tends to be like, oh, we want Power BI. Yes, absolutely. You need to use Power BI as a tool. But also don't overlook the end user within CRM. I know I should be calling it CE or whatever, but to me, it's not CRM.
Thank you.
I know.
I have another person saying yes. CRM. I still call it CRM.
So I'm going to say CRM. But to have the end user in CRM be able to go to the report area or on an account and click and say, right, I want an account overview report and have it and run it to then save it as a PDF or do something with it, share it with the customer. And so there are still things that with Power BI you're going to be limited on.
Absolutely.
So yeah, absolutely.
So recently, I mean, you've been, not just recently, but all the time, respect of time, recent could be, I mean, of course, a few months, but you're doing a lot on social media. I mean, you're blogging a lot, you're doing a lot of videos, very, very high quality content.
Oh, thank you.
In regards to sort of just understanding how to use the systems in a smart way. Mm-hmm. But what's your motivation?
I would think anyone that does it, I would hope anyone that does it, their motivation is the same as mine, and that's because they love sharing knowledge and data and knowledge and information and helping others. So my background has originally in hotels and restaurants, and then pretty much once I got into this recruitment software company, it was some type of customer service role. It was either training, I was an account manager for a while, I managed a customer services team. So there's all these different roles that at the heart of it is helping others understand the system that they've got and the power that it has. So with the blog, I started when I left this recruitment software company and I went into consulting, I literally started it like the month I started the consulting job, because I'd always had a blog of some kind, or a website, and it had been a while since I'd done any real blogging. So I wanted to get back into that, and also wanted to start sharing what I was learning, because even though D365 wasn't new, I knew there were still so many organizations that either had just started implementing it, had just started using it, or were thinking about it. So with the blog, I started that in June or July 2017.
So that's not really recent at all.
That's okay. And started to where I went full throttle to where I was like, blog. And then I got burnt out pretty quickly. And so 2018, I was like, right, I'm going to do one blog a year. Sorry, one blog. That would be a terrible blog. One blog a week.
Yeah.
Did that all the way through to 2018. Got to the end and thought, right, well, how can I do one better? So then now it's one blog plus a video to go with the blog, at least one every single week. And I'm my own worst taskmaster or boss, if you will, because if I haven't got it done, like it will get done. So I haven't missed a week yet. So, but yeah, and social media, like I've always done it because I've either managed social media accounts for a job that I've been working for, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah. But yeah, I love it. It's great to be part of that community.
Yeah. So we're in Amsterdam right now. I mean, is there anything you've seen while you've been here, or have you been just
I've
busy
seen
with
the inside of my hotel room because I haven't been feeling all that great. So I've stayed in my hotel room for a little bit, unfortunately. But my husband is flying out on Friday, and then we're going to spend the weekend here, just exploring, eating good food, and then we'll travel back to the UK on Monday. So yeah, so it'll be really nice to explore a little bit.
So the next question then, if you ever got invited to Oslo, would you come and do some presentations
about
hell content?
Yes, absolutely. I would love to. Yeah. I would love to. It would be fantastic.
We would really like to have you to our user groups there.
Yeah.
Or at least meetups that we call them there. Yeah.
Yes.
So far. Yeah.
Yes. No, that would be amazing. I'd love to. I've never been to Oslo, so.
Awesome.
It'd be really cool.
So anyway, Megan, this is just really cool, and of course I would recommend anyone seeing or watching this, that would be the same thing, listening or watching this, to go in and check out your blogs.
Thank you.
And your YouTube channel, and even follow you on Twitter.
Yes.
There is so much good content out there that you are producing right now.
Thank you.
And it would just make so much sense to just follow.
It would make so much sense, wouldn't it?
No, but it's just like, we have so many voices out there, and some of them are so highly technical.
Yeah.
And it's cool to read, but sometimes I feel so distant that, okay, I might keep that in mind if I encounter that problem at some customer sometime. Yeah, sure. But this is more actually of the day-to-day usage of the product.
Well, then that was one of the things that I wanted to make sure that I could deliver, is I've read so many blogs before in the past where I've looked at it and thought, that might be the answer to my problem, or, you know, it might be the solution I'm looking for, but I just don't understand it because the writer has assumed that I know X amount. Whereas I go to the level of, I don't want to assume anyone knows X amount. There has to be some level of assumption. Like, I have to assume you know how to create a field. I'm not going to walk through how to, you know, but I'll put screenshots, as many as I think are needed to help somebody out. But yeah, and another thing is I've got a resources page on my blog as well, so it's got links to other people's blogs and sites. Anytime I write a blog post where I've used someone's solution, then I'll link to that. So anytime there's anything where I've come across somebody else's content or work, then there's always...
refined it in some way? Not
refined it, used it to help solve the business problem.
Right.
So, and that's how I write is I think I don't think for the end user, I think of the end user and think, this is a real world business issue. Yeah. How can we fix that? How can we resolve it? So that's the standpoint that I think I come from.
Cool. So anyway, I want to thank you for taking the time. It was really nice of you to be our first ever.
Very nice to be asked. Thank you, Thomas.
And hopefully we will meet each other again sometime. And maybe at a seminar, or you come to Oslo.
Yes.
Maybe we go to a
come to
user
the UK.
Group the UK. That would be awesome.
Yeah, very.
And you know, just meet each other again. Because I mean, it's a small community. We got to stay together and just share as much information as possible.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.